Shalom, I'm Brother Rael from Reyahnited Soul, and in this video, I'll be discussing part 2 of the division between the black man and the black woman, which covers the third and last section that requires our due diligence. And although we are the children of Yasrael, for all intents and purposes of this discussion, I'm going to use the term black to identify our people, the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. I ask that you please bear with me. So let us nourish our soul with Scripture, that we may reunite with the Most High, the Elohim of Yasrael. All Scriptures will be read verbatim from the King James Version Bible. Now, let's get right into it. Now, for the third area that requires our due diligence, knowing what thus saith the Most High about his people is key to his people being obedient to his will. Why is that important to know? Because we need to know that it's more than just racism that plays a role in our oppression. It's biblical prophecy being fulfilled, and we need to know as a people the Most High's plan to get us out as he did before in Egypt. This nation was formed and designed with our captivity in mind. It was made strong to ensure through all the wars that it remained a world power for 400 years. And as our captivity come to a close, the Most High will wrap things up as he exact judgment upon this nation and his people for the wickedness they sowed, to recompense the blood of his people that stained this land. Unlike the New Testament doctrine, the Most High's type of justice is an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, life for a life, for he does not change. The debt owed, as you can imagine, is astronomical and will be paid in full. Many ancient nations were led to believe that their gods would save them from the Most High's judgment, but were gravely mistaken. This nation is not the first advanced and powerful civilization to believe that they were somehow beyond the reach of the Most High's wrath. They all arrogantly placed their faith in some ace-in-the-hole idol that they all gambled on, but proved to be powerless against the Most High. History will once again repeat itself because the Most High Yah, the great and terrible Elohim of Yasrael, is coming for his people and exacting judgment on their enemies according to Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 1 through 8, and I read, "And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence he will fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day." These scriptures speak of deliverance from captivity, restoration as a people, and justice dispensed to our enemies by the power of the Most High. You see, our focus needs to be on what thus saith the Most High about his people. Then you'll no longer lend your ear to our oppressors' nonsense. We can't buy into their narrative of tarnishing our image as a people so that they can justify their aggression towards us. The Most High knows his people better than anyone, and he gave our ancestors clear instructions as to who they were and on matters dealing with the heathen nations. So let's see what the Most High said about his people, the black man and the black woman, also known as the children of Yasrael, from the tribe of Yahudah, which was scattered among the heathen nations. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor shew mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all the people that are on the face of the earth. A holy people, a special people, chosen by the Most High. That's why the world is indifferent to us. They feel for us the way they feel for the Most High. Oh, did you actually think that they hated us because savages enslaved our ancestors? How much sense does that make? Or do you believe that they hated us because of the color of our skin? If that were true, then how do you explain the African immigrants arriving here and rising above us? Let me repeat that. Rising above us, just like any other fair-skinned immigrant group. We were probably not supposed to notice that. If it was about the color of our skin, we wouldn't as a people be estranged from Africa. We would be strongly united with those who had the same skin. If it was about skin color, the African population would have been decimated to extinction by white supremacy while their valuable resources were being stolen. You see, it was never about skin color. That's just a diversion from the truth. It's more about who we are, who we belong to, and prophecy being fulfilled. Let's go to Psalms chapter 83, verses 2 through 5, and I read, For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Confederate, meaning joined by an agreement or treaty. If you read further, several nations of people are identified in this confederacy. Although the names have changed over time, their descendants have not. Many of those who hate us can't even articulate why. It's just in them, and they're okay with it. Of course, there are legitimate reasons for disliking someone, but to hate and afflict an entire people for 400 years for no apparent reason other than you were led to do it, that's the work of the Most High. He can turn the heart however he chooses to accomplish his will, just as he did with Pharaoh in Egypt. The Most High hardened Pharaoh's heart so his people could witness with their eyes his power and glory as he delivered them out of bondage. Let's go to the scriptures. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. And he hardened the Pharaoh's heart, that he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hardened, he refuseth to let the people go. And the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened. Neither did he hearken unto them, as the Lord had said. But when Pharaoh saw that there was respite, he hardened his heart, and hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. Then the magicians said unto Pharaoh, This is the finger of God. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. And the Lord did according to the word of Moses, and he removed the swarms of flies from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. There remained not one. And Pharaoh hardened his heart at this time also, neither would he let the people go. And the Lord did that thing on the morrow, and all the cattle of Egypt died, but the cattle of the children of Israel died not one. And Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go. And Moses went out of the city from Pharaoh, and spread abroad his hands unto the Lord. And the thunders and hail ceased, and the rain was not poured upon the earth. And when Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunders were ceased, he sent yet more, and hardened his heart, he and his servants. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, neither would he let the children of Israel go, as the Lord had spoken by Moses. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, that I might show these my signs before him. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go. And Pharaoh said unto him, Get thee from me, take heed to thyself, see my face no more, for in that day thou seest my face, thou shalt die. And Moses said, Thou hast spoken well, I will see thy face again no more. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, They are entangled in the land, the wilderness hath shut them in. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them, and I will be honored upon Pharaoh, and upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And the Lord said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel, that they go forward. But lift up thy rod, and stretch out thine hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I, behold, I will harden the heart of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them. And I will get me honor upon Pharaoh, and upon all his host, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. Well, as you may know, Pharaoh and his army that followed perished that day. You can clearly see through Scripture that the Most High hardened Pharaoh's heart to accomplish his will. He couldn't be reasoned with, and just like our oppressors, they can't be reasoned with. This nation's heart has been hardened towards us since its inception to afflict us as a people and do the will of the Most High. No matter how much their wickedness is exposed, or how much we plead, or how much we protest, their persecution of our people will persist until the Most High get him his honor upon our enemies, upon all their host, upon their minions, and upon their henchmen. And like Pharaoh, their path to destruction has already been paved for them. Can you see? The stage has already been set. The Most High hardened their hearts, and they gave no recompense for their wickedness against his people. The Most High hardened their hearts, and they gave no reparations for what they owed his people. The Most High hardened their hearts, and they showed no repentance for their transgressions against his people. And as a result, they will face the Most High's wrath and judgment, because there can be no forgiveness for what they have sown. This nation is stained with the blood of the Most High's people, and he will ensure the debt is paid in full. Brothers and sisters, so much damage has been done to our relationship since we arrived in this nation, but the Most High will mend it. We must understand that we didn't get here by our own accord. Many factors were set in place by our oppressor to emasculate the black man and to devalue the black woman. Destructive factors that are clearly prevalent in our communities, although our people haven't the resources to mass produce it or control it, which means our oppressor ushers it in and provides the means to keep it going. Factors such as a lack of economic opportunities, the worldwide promotion and sales of ratchet music that tarnishes the image of our culture, the abundant supply of drugs and guns in our communities, and an aggressive war on drugs along with mass incarceration. And all these factors just mentioned is quite lucrative for our oppressors, which also means there's no incentive to stop it, although it's wreaking havoc upon our communities. My brothers and sisters, we have to learn to trust one another again. I know that's easier said than done. However, our ancestors didn't have a choice, and neither should we. We still face our ancestors' oppressor, just with different technology. To my woke brothers and sisters, there's going to be differences in what we believe. However, we can still pull together in unity. Can we at least agree that we're in captivity and we face a common oppressor? Now, we can build a lot just from that perspective alone. The infighting amongst the woke community is too distracting from what we can be doing as a people. Many of our people departed the church ministry and, like a revolving door, walked into a woke ministry. We should know by now that anything man puts his hands to will be flawed. Ministries and organizations can be targeted, infiltrated, or financed into submission. At the very least, you'll find yourself defending your ministry's doctrine or defending the actions of your leader. It provides another divide and conquer scenario. Put that energy to better use by defending your household. Then, once you accomplish that, by defending the community you live in, because the Most High doesn't require defending, nor do we have to defend His word. Lastly, our people need less leaders and more inspiration. Let's learn from our ancestors' mistake of desiring to follow a man leader instead of being led by the Most High, according to 1 Samuel chapter 8, verses 4 through 9, and I read. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all nations. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. According to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods, so do they also unto me. Now therefore hearken unto their voice, howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them, and shew them the manner of the king that shall reign over them. They made a grave mistake. We can certainly learn a lot from our ancestors if we only knew that they were our ancestors. If your heart is right, you'll seek the Most High to lead you. However, if your heart isn't right, you will always desire the leadership of a man, and you will always get what you deserve. With that being said, always keep your trust in the Most High. Love Him with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. See to it that your household is in line with the word of the Most High as best you can. I thank you for taking the time to watch, and with that, I say to you, Shalom.